Oh, hi there. So the last few videos on this channel have been a little bit doom and gloom recently. You know, a lot of, oh, well, this is my worst video, and this is the struggles that I have with imposter syndrome, and I can't sleep at night because I don't know if posting my next video is gonna kill my channel, and mean I have to sell my couch. And after filming all those in a row, I thought to myself, you know what? I should do some kind of follow-up where I go in the opposite direction. So instead of saying, what's the most overrated Quinton review stuff, I wanted to say, what's the most underrated Quinton review stuff? What is the stuff that I think more people should recognize as part of the channel history and the channel brand that most people almost never bring up to me? And that's why today we are looking at the most underrated Quinton reviews videos. If I turn this into a TikTok, that's going to loop really nice. Alright, so this playlist begins with what is perhaps one of my most famous and beloved videos, the Emoji Movie review. If you don't watch the Emoji Movie review at least twice a week, you're not a real Quinton Reviews fan after all. So we're going to kind of play this one by ear. For some of these videos, I'm going to talk about, you know, what these are and why they're on the list. For others, I'm going to watch a little bit, and there might even be a couple videos in this playlist that I watch a lot of. And by the way, this playlist is public, so when you're done watching this, you can maybe look these videos up in that playlist and kind of add them to your rotation. Some of the videos in this playlist have as many as 800,000 views, and I still consider them underrated. This video has 7,000 views. I kind of think that the video I'm filming right now is going to end up with more views than this video. And this is from April the 6th, 2016. This is called Quinton Reviews, Grays.com. When I made this, I remember being weirdly proud about it. I remember being sure that this video was going to be the first one to blow up. The fun thing about this video is also that it has a very early appearance by my little girl here. Bon Bon actually does cameo in this video as a kitten, and I think it's the second video she ever appeared in on the channel, and so maybe she can join me near the end and she can react to her own acting. Fuck you, Grace.com. Okay, here's the story. I'm on Pandora, right? You know, listening to some satanic stations or something. I'm on Pandora. Holy shit. I forgot my channel is that old. And I hear this ad, you know the one that's like, "Hello, Pandora listeners. We're sorry to interrupt your call, but I think you're going to like what you're going to hear." And so I'm like, okay, this better be good. You're interrupting my tunes, my hard metal. There she is! Not good. Look at, she's so tiny! A free snack box. Bon Bon, look at you! Shit. You know, as a Bernie Sanders supporter, I gotta say, you know, I like free shit, you know, so sign me up, and I did, I signed up for all that. That's legitimately funny. And I get a free box, and I'm like, yeah, this is alright. I get a second free box, so I was like, whoa, this is awesome. I get a third free box, and I'm like, you guys are really shipping it out. Only one of them was free, and I did not realize this. They had billed me for 2 boxes without asking me. Well, clearly they had to have asked me, I just didn't read the contract. So now I got 3 boxes of stuff. I was able to cancel before they had planned to send me like 10 boxes of this stuff. And you know what? So I think it's about time we sat down and took a look at all this right here. Let's see what. In the early videos, I was doing this weird thing with the Quinton Reviews character where I kind of didn't want it to be. I initially didn't want Quinton Reviews. I didn't want the Quinton in the YouTube show to talk like me. Like I said, I didn't initially intend for his name to be Quinton Reviews. And so I do this thing where I talk like this. And whisk over there, you want me to believe it? And now anytime I look back at those videos, I'm like, I can't believe I tried to like sell that as a part of my character. That I'm like, hey, who's Grace.com? And I'm like, who is me? I sound like a South Park character, you know what I mean? Grace.com is a good deal. That's a good deal for $12. No, and it was $12. Oh yeah, they billed me $12 a month. That's absurd for what they were sending. I think that'd be absurd today. I think I'd be pissed off about that today. Oh, if you're curious, the person behind the camera is my sister. She used to occasionally help me film these early videos. She still sometimes helps me film videos, but not as much. And they had me buy it without telling me. You know, I've never had that happen before. I've never bought something without knowing it. I think one of the reasons I was doing the voice like that is that I found it really hard to get rid of my stammer, which is something I've always struggled with. And I think that when I play the character this way, it camouflages the stammer as part of the character that I'm playing. If that makes sense. I don't know if that was the conscious reason. I think it's one of the subconscious reasons. Because if I record and I go on a rant, at least for one of the takes, I'm going to be stammering a lot, and I have to really meditate and concentrate to get through it all without stammering. So, to me, the fact that I'm playing this, like, angry critic, Porky the Pig character, it seems like a purposeful decision to maybe camouflage that a little bit, because I've always been very unhappy with my speech impediment. Eat and enjoy them. What do we got here? Yeah, sorry for that. My plumbing. I've been able to keep it in check because I wasted all my paycheck for this month on dried up apples. Yeah. It's like if you took everything that was like okay about a raisin, and that was just gone. That's just out of the deal now. Oh, what's this shit? The funniest thing I think about my early videos is the ones that are filmed at my parents' house. I just, like, pretend that it's my house, and I just hope that you'll just buy that. You know? I feel like that's a trope with, like, you know, early episodes of any internet reviewer. They were like, this is my house! It's definitely not my mom's house! This is my house! Uh-oh, it burned down, and now I'm in a shitty apartment. I'm skipping through this. And Quinton, darling, you have some good stuff going for you here. But at no point did this video need to be 13 minutes long. I could edit this into a 3-minute YouTube short, and it would be too long. Should I do that? Should I make a YouTube short out of my 2016 Grays.com review? There's a great gag with music here. I can't play it, but I'll just sing along. Was that worth it? Was that worth all my bother and time? I don't know. What do you think, Kitty? What do you think? What do you think, Kitty? Do 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 do. Half around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. On early for the daily races, owing something, something, something. And if are driving up my stepper, no expressions, no expressions. So this is supposed to be like Bonbon having an existential crisis over watching me eat all this Grays.com. And then I'm gonna say it. Say it. That's all you need.
She caved under pressure.
That's all you need. 3 years after I made this video, they discontinued this service in America, and then later they discontinued this service in the United Kingdom. They now only sell snacks at grocery stores, so you could say that I single-handedly killed Grays.com. Next up, we have Dream Theories Are Dumb. I remember this being one of the first ones I was really proud of. We are, by the way, we've skipped past the Timmy Turner videos because I would not call those underrated, especially since I just did a remake of those that is almost at 1 million views. But not getting there fast enough, so go watch that too.
On May the 25th, 1988, the series finale of the hospital drama Saint Elsewhere aired on NBC, and it didn't go out with a whimper like most probably expected. Instead, it introduced a twist which made the episode one of the most infamous finales of all time. In a scene tacked on at the end, we see many of the characters in a new setting, an apartment building, where they try to interact with a boy who sits and plays with a snow globe, lifeless and quiet. As the child leaves to wash up for dinner, we see a close-up of the globe. every single one of the 136 episodes which led up to this were all nothing more than a fantasy in this child's mind. Just the imagination of a disabled boy running wild to entertain himself. Again, this is one of those TV show endings that you're just supposed to know about, to the point that it's still in the public sphere of relevance when the show itself hasn't been popular for decades. And the "it was all a dream" explanation has stuck around since then, being popular amongst theorists who try and search for hidden meanings in the old shows and programs that we all grew up loving. And it's the worst. While we all love to discover that great products have hidden meanings and symbolism, I find the recent trend in searching for these hidden clues in fictional products that clearly did not seek out to include them a little bit overdone. With these theories, there's rarely any base in believing that they're actually true. Occasionally there's something fun to be found, like the Ed, Edd n Eddy theory about them all being from different eras. Stupid, amazingly stupid, and easily disprovable, but still a cool idea.
This is really weird to watch because it is so on brand with what I currently, kind of the direction of my content currently. Except for the fact that it's 13 minutes long, it's almost like I could make this video today. The only difference would be that there would be an expectation that I put more effort into these visuals. But, like, I haven't said anything so far because this is just a really solid intro about this topic. This has aged quite well, I think. It's actually kind of amazing how well it's aged. I feel like if I found this video organically and someone else had made it, I'd be like, I gotta subscribe to this guy. So I'm quite pleased with this so far, which is weird.
A very popular creepypasta on the show Rugrats tries to prove that the entire program is just set inside Angelica's head.
Why does it need to be stories of deceased babies? Surely if Angelica has this much of a problem of perception, then she could think anything around her is something that she can make into a story. I mean, couldn't it be, you know, something with loose reality, like a narrative or a fucking cartoon?
If a TV show doesn't make any sense, it's probably because it's a goddamn TV show. Asking a cartoon to constantly confirm to your perceptions of reality is literally like expecting the dreams you have at night to also confirm to those perceptions. How do you explain your dreams not making sense? Is you in the dream actually hallucinating after being in a coma for 6 months? But when you move past how theories are rarely necessary, then you have to try and disprove them. But I can't disprove dream theories, because either by accident or by design, dream theories are essentially unfalsifiable claims.
I don't really know how to end this video, so I'm just gonna read to you guys one of my favorite theories and give you my 2 cents on it.
About every 90s kid knows about the Nickelodeon series, Hey Arnold. The show about a small boy with an odd-shaped head. That's about the first thing you notice, the oddly shaped heads the characters have. We'll get back to that later on.
Yes, when bringing up a concept that you're planning to build off of, be sure to automatically tell the audience that this is what is going to happen to avoid any confusion. Oh, thank you. That's the only part in this video so far I thought was annoying.
I want to tell you one thing first. The show isn't fiction. It's all happened. That's why there are a lot of life lessons in it. He believes he's an orphan. He actually is the child of the people he believes to be his grandparents. Because Gertie and Phil were old when they made Arnold. He was born with a few conditions. One of them is hydrocephalus. That's the reason his head has such an odd shape. It's called the Arnold-Chiari syndrome. Gertie and Phil themselves are mentally unstable. This is because of their age. This is also the reason why Phil sexually abused Arnold.
Whoa!
Phil says to Arnold that it's totally normal that a grandparent does this kind of stuff to their grandchildren.
Alright, so did I skip any paragraphs? Because I definitely feel like I missed something along here.
It's all based on facts. When the creator got lost in New York, he accidentally got into the poor area. It was really late, so he decided to stay in a hotel. Then he came across a 9-year-old boy, the child of 2 people who were clearly too old to have children. He saw that the boy was mentally unstable, and he believed in all the things he made up. So he asked the boy if he could tell his story, and then he'd make sure that the boy's life would become better. But he didn't. He just took advantage of it. All the misery was so successful as a children's program. He became rich and didn't care about the poor boy suffering.
These are facts, people. This isn't a theory anymore. This is real life. This boy was real, and he was attacked, pulverized by the creator of Hey Arnold, who took his life with the pet pig in the James Bond room, and he just made it into a TV show and made a lot of money off it. The sick bastard! I liked you, Craig! You son of a bitch!
Oh yeah, there's a funny 2016 YouTuber thing where it's just like, because we all were obsessed with John Sean, it's like, it's very important that you do a New York accent for no reason at any time, just to be like, yeah, gay, what? I'm walking here.
The boy probably is dead now. We can't help him anymore. But please, make sure no one takes advantage of someone else's misery ever again. We can all help those poor kids in ghettos, but not by making a program about them.
The whole world has...
That's really awkward. You can tell that I searched the phrase poor kids in ghettos and didn't realize that it was a photo from the Holocaust. I promise you that was not intentional. So yeah, this might be one of the best videos I've ever made. There's a couple moments that are like just not funny because I was kind of experimenting. But there's also enough moments that are extremely funny that it's like, I think if you found the channel through this video, I think it's legitimately a great way to start out. It's a great first video to watch before you watch anything else. That's what I'll say. Next up, we are going to talk about Quinton reviews Scary Godmother 1 and 2. Now, this is a weird one to put on the list because it does have 800,000 views. In fact, back in the day, if you were a fan of the channel early on, if you were around in the 2010s in my fan base, it was very likely that you considered this one of the best Quinton reviews videos. When the channel first blew up, the Timmy Turner videos and this video kind of got swept along with the Leafy video, and people really started watching this one and liking it. And I remember at the time thinking that it was probably my best video. And in fact, when I was doing the Fallen Titans videos years later, I went back and I rewatched this video. And I remember I said to Caleb, do you remember when we were just funny? How did we do that? I literally said, I'm not funny anymore. What happened? Because like Fallen Titans could be so dry that I wasn't like, there weren't these like snappy quips every other second. But with like some of the videos from 2016, there's so many jokes. And some of them have aged very badly, because I was literally just like throwing stuff at a wall. But I remember just looking at this years later and being like, when did I lose the touch? But, so this video is interesting. The reason it's on this list, even though it has 800,000 views, is that I looked it up, and this video in the last year got about 5,000 views. So it is very much not a video that continues to gain traffic. I don't even think it gains traffic around Halloween anymore. I think it's kind of lost its place in the SEO.
Halloween media is fairly different from most sorts of media. The best I can explain it is that Halloween media just doesn't seem like it's built to last, because we're constantly updating what we want the season to be about as we continue to age and as the world continues to change. Halloween specials come and go faster than my co-producer's ex-boyfriends. So sometimes we look over our shoulders and feel a tiny bit embarrassed for what we had once been a part of. Sort of like my co-producer when he looks back at all of his ex-boyfriends.
My co-producer at the time was Caleb. And here's the funny thing. Both of the people in those photos we asked. And they were not actually Caleb's ex-boyfriends, by the way. We just thought this was a funny bit, and we were like, can you ask those two guys if this is an okay bit to do? And that guy's name is Nathan, and this is a photo from back to the 80s. This is a funny story. We did a play called Back to the 80s in high school. I played the narrator. I got to sing, God, what is the song? I got to sing, Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You gave love a bad name. I got to sing that. That was fun. But so the story is that I said to Nathan, "Hey, I have to be the narrator. One of us should dress up like Weird Al. One of us should just be Weird Al, because there's no good Weird Al references in this 80s script. There's a bunch of music references, but no Weird Al jokes." And Nathan was like, "That's genius. I will dress up as Weird Al." So he is supposed to be Weird Al in that photo there, and he played it that way during the whole show, and he also beatboxed because he was famous for beatboxing. I think his name was Nathan. If I got your name wrong, I'm so sorry. I'm getting to the age where they're starting to go out the back door. I'll be honest with you.
Scary Godmother, everybody.
Yeah, see, this is the thing I like doing sometimes, where like some videos I'd have a long, intricate pop culture introduction, and then other videos I'd be like, "Hey, let's start the video."
Oh, spooky. Oh, wow. Look at that moon. I bet you they modeled that after a potato they found around the office. Ooh, even the opening credits want out of this one. Oh, wowzers, people. Look at those walk cycles. These characters don't even move as a reaction of their feet pushing against the ground. They just glide forwards regardless as their body just goes through the motions. Look at this woman's legs! She moves like one of those super stretchy dolls from the 40s. So this is Daryl, who is running to meet up with Katie. The crew have arranged to meet up at that cemetery every town has where the tombstones have no names.
Got enough room in your trunk for all the candy we'll get? I said, do you have... Roll down the window.
That's not how car windows work. You're supposed to crank it from the inside. You just pushed your hand through a sheet of glass. Get to a hospital immediately.
Right on.
The team join up with Jimmy, Satan,
Why is that so funny to me?
To appease his parents. If you haven't figured it out yet, his cousin is the main character. You can tell because she's the only one with eyes.
I think that broke me so much because I was expecting it to be like a really lame 2016 Quinton joke of like, "That's not a real car," and instead it was actually a really funny punchline, and that made it hit so much more. I do think I'm playing too many clips. That's my one criticism right now. I think these clips are going on for a while.
Imagine if Tim Burton directed a reboot of The Magic School Bus. So the Scary Godmother...
That's a good description, Scary Godmother. Yeah, so I'm skipping over a lot here. To recap the movie so you don't get confused, the other older kids tried to play a prank on the little kid by having her, locking her in an old abandoned house, but she got visited by her scary godmother, which is your fairy godmother, but scary, and it just turns out that the scary godmother is throwing a boring adult party where they're all just going to stand around and like tell bad jokes and eat snacks and stuff. And so she's trying to help all the monsters not have a boring Halloween. And so now it's going to cut back to what the other kids are up to.
Holy shit, are you guys still laughing about this? It's been hours! Halloween's over! You lost your chance to get any candy! Jesus Christ!
If you pick first, then you won't need to trade with me all the time.
I like trading with you, Daryl.
I ship it.
Okay, Mischievous Joe, for 3 kisses.
Oh!
This is one of the early Quinton reviews attempts at a meme.
Come here, man!
I'll suck your dick for a pack of M&Ms.
Nice. I'm sure all these bits are fine. It's just that I'm going to be here all night if I actually watch every 30-minute video that's in this playlist. And also, I'm bored.
You're either with me or against me.
Either you are with us, or you are with the terrorists.
I loved doing George Bush jokes. As a matter of fact, I just remembered something. I'm gonna open the channel up and I'm gonna show you guys something. This is how long I've been doing Quinton reviews. Okay, so when my videos first started to blow up, I had this great idea of doing a Q&A video series, and it was called Q Gives a FAQ. But it was implied that you're supposed to read it as Q Gives a Fuck. Amazing joke, I know. This is not in the playlist because I don't think any of these are particularly good. This one blew up just because I put Pyrocynical's name in it because I read one of his comments. But this was just supposed to be a show I did where I would read comments. And as you can see, these videos would just do horribly. This is not what you should do with your YouTube channel if you're starting out, you know, because you can just look and see like movie review, shit post, kind of Q&A, you know, me answering questions to the audience. And there used to be Let's Plays here. I think I deleted them all. But, you know, this is what I always talk about is just like, just stick to one thing per channel. And that's going to really help you find an audience early on. I made a whole video just talking about the fact that Harambe died.
Hey guys, welcome to Q Gives a Fuck number 2. Let's jump right into the news. How did Harambe really die? On May the 28th, 2016, a 3-year-old boy climbed into the gorilla enclosure at the Cincinnati Zoo and was grabbed and dragged around by a 17-year-old gorilla named Harambe. Fearing for the life of the child, the gorilla was shot. We know all about how Harambe died. The thing that we don't know is who pulled the trigger. I think that's
That's my funniest joke in a video that no one has seen. Alright, so I'm fast forwarding because I want to find this specific cutaway. This was like the reason we did the video. It's cause I can't remember. I think I wrote this. I'm pretty sure I wrote this, but it was a joke that Caleb and I came up with. I think I was talking to someday and I was like, you remember that Cartoon Network thing where, you know, it'd teach you how to, you know, blow up a marshmallow in the microwave? And Caleb was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so we found it and I was like, I need to write a skit where I'm dubbing this with my own voice.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey kids, it's Chef Boyardee's Nuts here for a quick and fun trip to your Halloween fun all at one time. You're gonna need a chocolate bar, some marshmallows, graham crackers, and a toothpick. Take your bar of chocolate and break that into several pieces to use later in the recipe. Now if you're in a situation where candy has been removed from the market and you can't buy any candy, then I guess you're kind of shit out of luck and this guide isn't any help to you at all. Now take your toothpick and dip it into the chocolate syrup and pull it out. Make sure not to break it because then you've wasted some supplies and the Colonel will get very mad at you. Use the toothpick to paint on a face onto the marshmallow and then go ahead and put on the graham cracker with the one piece of chocolate. Now that you've humanized your product, we're ready to kill it using a tactic outlawed by the Geneva Conventions. Also, fuck it, just smother some shit on top of the head to make it real fucking ugly. Stick your creation into the microwave and set it for about 2 minutes. If you don't have time like that and you'd like to speed up the process, try wrapping it in aluminum foil first. Listen as the beast you've forced into the realm of existence is bloated by the heat, which the human body couldn't live through itself. Imagine it screaming for mercy as its very essence is stretched to a size it was never meant to hold. Take it out of your microwave and chew it up. Gooey.
Yeah, so we thought that was the funniest thing ever made, and maybe we were right. I don't know. But yeah, Scary Godmother, if you've only seen like 2020's Quinton reviews, if you only know the iCarly stuff, and you're like, I want to get into the, you know, I'm talking about this like it's Doctor Who, but you know, if you're like, I want to get into the classic series, but I don't know where to start, Quinton reviews Scary Godmother 1 and 2. From what I've seen, I think it is an excellent example of 2016 Quinton, of Quinton reviews in that first year that I was properly doing it. And yeah, next up, we have Quinton reviews Sinister Squad. Now you'll notice so far all of these videos have been Quinton reviews blah blah blah, and then eventually I switched to actually having an individual title for each one, and that was just because that was just for performance and because I wanted the drama videos were blowing up, you know, the grade A and A videos, the leafy videos. These reviews were kind of getting attention because of that. But I needed the two things to be seen as one series instead of two unrelated things. And that's the reason I invented Fallen Titans, is because I was like, how do I combine the drama videos with these movie reviews so that if you're a fan of one, you'll also like the other. And that's why Fallen Titans exists, because it combined them. And then I also made my film review titles more like clickbaity. But this is what Quinton reviews Sinister Squad. I'm watching this one explicitly because someone asked for it. Someone asked for it in the comments of a recent video. They were like, "Hi, I noticed that you never shit talk Sinister Squad because you know it's a piece of art." So yeah, let's see if this video is aged well.
From the dawn of creation, an oracle spoke of an unbeatable team who would save the world from an unstoppable demigod threatening the causality of causality itself. That team has never arrived. Instead, a new group rises from the ashes, certainly not nearly as qualified to tackle the problem, but pretty much the best that humanity has right now. This is Purple Man. He is purple. This is Multiplication Man. Multiplication Man has the power to create a perfect duplication of himself with equal intelligence, strength, and wisdom, at the small cost of the original dying almost immediately.
Oh man, that bush never recovered from that. That bush is still fucked up right there. I forgot about that.
This is God. He is surprisingly quiet. At the age of 22, Jerry Falcon was hit by a car which knocked him into a container of scientific equipment that mixed together the perfect chemical concoction that enhanced his aerobic skills while also permanently damaging his respiratory system. He is the Asthmatic Flash.
So the start of this video started out as this was like something Caleb was like vamping with another friend with. Like they were trying to come up with like a superhero squad of the worst superheroes. And so, you know, he would on the side also do this with me. And then one of those days I was like, let's just put these guys in the video. So we came up with Supervised Squad as the name. And I will tell you freely, Multiplication Man was Caleb's. I didn't come up with Multiplication Man. It's too brilliant to come from me. Caleb also definitely came up with Purple Guy. I think I came up with God. And the one that I definitely came up with was the Asthmatic Flash, which is just like, it's the Flash, but he has asthma. Like that was my pitch. It's inspired by the fact that I have asthma, so I can't run, even though I have really long legs. And so that's the main thing I contributed to this bit is just the Asthmatic Flash. And by the way, I'll just mention this. You know, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen this video, but there's a sequence later on where a lot of the Sinister Squad die. Or a lot of the Supervised Squad die. And we purposefully planned it so that the Asthmatic Flash secretly survived. And I, in fact, have footage that shows, from this shoot, that shows that he actually survived and that he was actually alive when you thought he was dead. And I've constantly kept that in my mind, that if at any point for some anniversary video or something, I can get Char back up to where we're at, then they could reprise that role because we meticulously prepared for the Asthmatic Flash to be resurrected.
This is Perfect Sphere Man. His power is being a perfect sphere. He's Jewish and cripplingly depressed.
I know for a fact that Perfect Sphere Man was Caleb's. There's no way that wasn't Caleb.
I can't even drink my sorrows away. I don't have a mouth.
Why are you such a fucking bitch about everything? That one was an accident.
A child prodigy with an incredible mind, Bruce
That's an actual photo of me.
Allen spent nearly a decade of dedication building up a perfect suit that gave him the abilities of a god. Super strength, invulnerability, and flight were all at his command. However, the completed suit looks so ridiculous that he avoids putting it on at all costs.
Yo, Purple Guy, you got this one, alright?
2 pieces of trivia. Number 1, you finally get to see the full suit in Quinton Reviews the movie. And number 2, the welder's helmet I'm wearing there is actually the same welder's helmet that Dad wore in Darth Vader the movie in 1990. Anyways, you guys want a really dated reference? Get prepared for a really, really dated reference.
And their leader, Scarce.
Hey guys, it's Scarce here.
As a child, Scarce developed the power to sense double uploads within a 10-mile radius.
I'm definitely feeling just one upload today.
Do all of you even get that joke? Like, I feel like a significant chunk of you are watching this and you're gonna go, who the fuck is Scarce? And why? What do you mean double upload? What is that? And that valid. That's an entirely valid set of questions to have. I don't know why we put this reference in the video. Fun fact, this is the first time I ever shaved for a bit. I filmed everything for the video until this shot. And then I shot this right before the video came out. And I can't remember how long. Usually within a week I have what looks like a beard kind of grown back in. But yeah, so I play Scarce, the YouTuber Scarce, who has not posted on YouTube since 2023. I recreated his famous Scarce walks out from behind a tree meme that everyone remembers.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Scarce here, and today I'm doing my face reveal video.
And Scarce, the YouTuber that everyone remembers, is the leader of this superhero group for some reason. Isn't that so funny?
Together, they are the Supervised Squad.
Oh, I like how I just used Scarce in the bottom there.
How many movies am I gonna watch today that seem like they're Suicide Squad when I put them in, but then they turn out to be something that kind of sounds like Suicide Squad, but isn't Suicide Squad at all? Whatever. I'm just gonna turn my head away from this pile of DVDs, and I'm gonna grab a random one, and I'm sure that one will be Suicide Squad.
I still have some of those, I think. Oh, whoa! This is one of the first knockoff Novembers, and this is one of the first knockoff Novembers, and this is a parody. This is a bad 3D parody I made actually in Blender. That's supposed to be a parody of my own intro. Wow, that's crazy! Oh my goodness, that's so funny. It's funny because none of you even know the Quinton Reviews Open or the Quinton Reviews theme. There's a Quinton Reviews theme, but I haven't used it in like 8 years.
In 2006, Asylum released their third technical mockbuster, which I would argue was actually the first of theirs to be legitimately legally questionable. The cover of said film featured a train coming out of a snake's mouth. One of the people seeking investors for the project was asked if that was actually in the film. So he made them put it in the film. You get the sense that at Asylum there's this minor clash of interests.
As I'm shuttling through this, I'm like, yeah, some of this is probably bad. Like the bit where I'm like, Bluebeard is a stupid story. I think it's just funny to be like, to be like the Quinton the Parable reviewer, where he's like, this old story from hundreds of years ago is dumb. They should have workshopped this. Huh. Oh, great, an H3H2 clip. Alright, so this is the cutaway. The Supervised Squad has now arrived in my universe, and they are battling an unseen character.
Oh, an interdimensional portal has opened up in my backyard and is dispersing various subpar superheroes all over it, who are fighting some sort of unseen force. That's pretty cool.
I must multiply to 5 million!
Someone help me,
God damn it, I just finished raking.
Okay, so this is the greatest scene I've ever made. It's weird seeing it as it was originally shown, because obviously in future videos I do flashbacks to expound on what's going on in this scene. Um, uh, Sorry, I'm just trying to process this. That was, I mean, that's the best gag we've ever done. I love that bit so much. Even if this video, if it turns out that this video is dog shit and the analysis is terrible and that the review jokes aren't funny, just the skit at the start and this skit makes it a really good video. Now, the deciding factor on if this is a good video or a great video is if this is a great video, the screams will continue as I continue the review. I'll keep talking and you'll hear the screams going on in the background. And if it's a good review, I won't do that. So let's see what creative decision I made here.
This is bullshit.
Exposition shot of a hotel sign they filmed without permission. So Goldie goes to a hotel to intercept the fairy tale dude who she has to stop. It's a guy named Bluebeard who's obsessed with knives and fights her. Interestingly enough, Bluebeard is at—
This just makes it— you could do this gag in any video, and it would be the best video I'd ever made. Like, I truly peaked. No wonder I got really depressed after this. I mean, I don't know. Right now, I don't know how to make a better gag than that. Jesus Christ! All right, I don't think I can dedicate any more of this to this video. I will say there's an after the credits scene.
I sometimes dream that God and I are walking together in an endless desert of sand and lost dreams. Near the end of my journey, I look back and I see that the most difficult parts were those that I walked alone. Even now, I walk alone. For you see, God abandons you when you need him most.
Big reveal, big reveal. It's Donald Trump for the Timmy Turner videos. Yay! Yeah, so if you're curious, a lot of people didn't stay to watch the end credit, the after the credit scene there. But we always intended that Donald Trump from the Timmy Turner videos was the big mysterious bad guy that they were fighting, because we unironically wanted to have an ongoing movie going on in the background of the Quinton Reviews videos. And it was just, you know, there was just some day where I was like, hey, we should just make that movie. Like, we should just make that movie anyways. And it'll be dog shit, but we should just make it anyways, just to piss people off. And so that's why, you know, Quinton reviews the movie, aka To Boldly Suck. But you should watch the cut. There's two edits to that video. One is called To Boldly Suck, and then the other is split into two videos. One called Quinton Reviews To Boldly Flee, and one called Quinton Reviews the Movie. And you should watch the latter edit because I fixed some of the mixing issues in the original To Boldly Suck upload. But yeah, so there's a whole Quinton Reviews lore movie if you somehow didn't know that, and yeah, we set it up meticulously from the beginning because that's actually a direction we wanted to do with the channel. And you know, recently I've been thinking I need to start reaching out to that stuff again, because I think when you watch some of these lore bits, it's like there's a magic here that I don't think my videos have right now. And that's not to be self-critical or dismissive, but I almost kind of think that the iCarly miniseries could have used a little bit of that spice. And maybe some of you will disagree. Maybe some of you hated watching this and you wish I wouldn't do this, but I don't know. Some days I just want to get together with some of my old friends and just record some stupid bullshit. Because it's my channel and I could do whatever the hell I want. Okay, next up, how to open a tough jar. We kind of have to talk about this one.
People ask me all the time, how do you open cans? The secret is that when you use your right hand, you're trying to push against the opposite of the way that the bottle wants to go, because your hand isn't designed to twist this way. But when you use your left hand, it just comes right off. Now you too can fuck as many bitches as I do.
So that video, I think, has 1 million views, yeah. This went viral for some reason, but it got posted on r/videos. I think I'm banned from r/videos now. But this got posted on r/videos. It went viral. It was all over the internet. And then at some point, Daniel Tosh put it on his television show, Tosh.0. So if you find the episode where he plays this, you can watch me on Paramount Plus being used to segue into a commercial break. And I was not asked or paid. And that was the funny thing, is that for years, this was the only... For years, to the people in the small town where I grew up, this was the only accomplishment I had ever made. Like, it wasn't Quinton Reviews' YouTube channel. It's Quinton Hoover was on Tosh.0. Isn't that a kid we went to high school with? They played him on Tosh.0. And that was like one of the most exciting things anyone in our shitty town had done for decades. And so I would go out, and kids I didn't know, like high school kids, would stop me and would try and talk to me about the fact that I was on Tosh.0. And the vibe would be really weird because they'd expect me to be like, yeah, best experience of my life. You know, I'm so grateful, you know. Love Christ, or whatever they expected. But instead I was just like, yeah, he should have paid me. He used me to transition into a fucking commercial break. I should have been paid for that. Why didn't I get paid for that? It's bullshit. And then they would just be like, okay, I'm going to back away slowly, because they expected me to just wax poetic about how cool it is to be on TV. But instead, I'm just like, why was it? I would have taken $15. If Daniel Tosh, send this to Daniel Tosh. Motherfucker, you owe me money. Bitch, I want money from you. I ain't forgetting nothing, man. Give me my fucking money. Speaking of money, I never do this, but I wanted to open up the analytics here, and I'm just going to show you 1 million views, $139.70. That's how much money I made off of 1 million views, because it's only 24 seconds long. This is the reason that Vine shut down, and if TikTok didn't have live streaming, I'm convinced they would also shut down, because it's just so much harder to monetize really short videos versus really long ones. I promise you, I won't do it, you know, because for privacy reasons, but I promise you, if I pulled up a 1 million view video that was over an hour, I would have made more than $139, you know, in 1.1 million views and 10 years of it being online, you know. That's just, I mean, this really taught me the lesson of, like, I realized I'm never going to make money doing these short YouTube videos. And the only way I could ever make good money on, you know, TikToks or YouTube Shorts is if I got popular enough doing them that, like, Arby's started paying me to, like, do sponsorship videos for their company. Until that happens, as far as I'm concerned, 24-second videos, even if they go viral and they're super popular, not really something that you can live off of. This video's not really that good. It's hardly my best video. I don't even think it's my funniest gag. The only reason I think I have to show it in this compilation is that there's just a ton of in-jokes throughout my channel's history about the fact that for a while I was only known for doing this. Like, this was to me what the Harlem Shake was to Joji. And instead of trying to swiftly avoid ever mentioning it, I was like, I just sometimes got to make jokes that I was like, hey, did you know I'm the how to open a tough jar guy? But these days, obviously, I'm not known for that. And when people in my small town come up to me, they're not talking to me about the jar video. So it's a very different situation. So, you know, that's just a fair warning. If you try and talk to me about this video, I will start ranting about the fact that Daniel Tosh owes me fucking money, and that he's a punk-ass little bitch, and that I'm not going to forget until he pays me my goddamn money. Anyways, next up, Quinton accidentally melts his face off. This is, I did a Doctor Who video that was, like, reviewing, Time Lash, which is supposedly the worst episode of the show. And I've always been a fan of that shot in Indiana Jones where his face melts off. And there's a video I saw on YouTube ages ago where a guy uses, like, melted down candles to recreate that video. And I was like, oh, I want to do that, but that seems like it's too much work. So I made a version of my head with ice cream and my own I basically got my hair cut, and I was just like, can I keep my own hair? And they thought that was fucking weird. Like, when I was like, yeah, it's for an art project, I'm going to do a special effect of my head melting, you know, you'd think they'd be like, oh, I gotcha. No, they thought it was fucking weird. And that's the kind of service you're going to get at Great Clips. They will not pretend that it's normal that you want to keep your own hair. But yeah, so it was like, we just had the ice cream melt off. Very interesting depiction of my lips here. And I remember Dad was like, we should have just lit this on fire. And towards the end, that's what we do. But anyway, so this is in my review of Time Lash. That video sucks, I think. I can't remember. It's where Cat Bernie Sanders comes from. And yeah, this was in the era where the channel was so up and down that sometimes Caleb and I would be like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we posted this, like, right now at 3 a.m.? So this is an unlisted test video from 2016 that I posted in 2017 just to see how annoyed my audience got. Every Mr. Gear glowing 1000 degree knife video ever. My god, that's an old joke. Sorry, man, this happened to me once. The beard will grow back. Yeah, you know, people had a good sense of humor about it, but it didn't blow up, obviously. It would have been funny if this was, like, my most popular video. This is an old relic. Caleb and I tried to do a side thing where we ran a Let's Play channel. We didn't have mics, so we just used the onboard camera mic. And then we were convinced we were so goddamn funny. And I knew this animator called, I think he was called Benjamin Basic. And I said, hey, our Let's Plays aren't really getting views. Can you animate some clips of us playing the Let's Play? And we'll post it on the main channel like Game Grumps does. And that will make us famous. So this video didn't do well. Partially because I didn't give it a good title. It's called Quinton Reviews Animated Segment. I didn't know what else to call it. I think this entire video is us playing the Narnia game for PS2. So if you're wondering what the context for all these audio clips is, we're playing the Narnia game for PS2.
So we gotta go. There's a timer.
We have 2 minutes and 49 seconds to survive World War II. Into the wardrobe, quick! Into the demon wardrobe. What's going on?
You want me to jump off? Fucking shoot me in the head.
Edmund can team up with Peter or Susan.
What do I do? Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. What the fuck? That's horrifying.
Jeez. Oh, no.
Oh, wolf. Narnia sucks, dude.
The nanny can't be this bad.
Spider-Man! Spider-Man! Spidey! You gotta fuck him! Fuck him with your thick Spidey!
Like a really emotional slow motion sequence, like Stanley's dying, and he's like,
Spidey! You gotta fuck him! You gotta fuck him with your dick, Spidey!
So, that was a running joke in that Let's Play for some reason, that I became convinced that the phrase, fuck him with your dick, Spidey, spoken as if it was said by Stan Lee. I became convinced that was the funniest joke in the world. And I remembered that we had that animated. And I was convinced that when I put this in the playlist, that I would watch this and be like, damn, that's not funny, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was on. But that still cracks me up a little bit. I think it's funnier now that Stan Lee isn't alive, just to imagine that as the final interaction between Stan Lee and Spider-Man.
You gotta fuck him with your dick, Spidey!
Alright, this is one of the real ones. And this is indeed when I was still working at Little Caesars. We are in the pre-lore era. I was indeed employed at Little Caesars at this point. Actually, I take that back. Here's what happened. I recorded an actual video of me actually browsing eBay. And then I went back months later and I flared it up with some new bits. And so all the voiceovers were not recorded in 2016, but the camcorder shots here were recorded in 2016. And then I finished it in early 2017. The reason I know that that is the case, that I'm not remembering it wrong, is that I was fired from Little Caesars. And they made me give back the shirt. They made sure that they got that shit back. And so I do not have a Little Caesars shirt anymore. I bet I could find one on eBay.
So I have some bad news, my friends. It appears that I've developed a bit of an addiction. Yes, for the past several weeks, I have been
recklessly spending all of my money on eBay hits.
Alright, here we are. We gotta get to my watch list.
Two things. Number one, this is a great joke. I think about this joke every time I go to my watch list on eBay. Second of all, I love how you can tell my laptop is such a piece of shit that it can't do screen recording and it is just struggling to capture anything resembling moving video. This was a problem for a while. This was a problem with quite a few videos, up until very recently, honestly, because it was hard to find a laptop that I could afford for a while that was good enough to do screen recording.
Iron Man Lego, buy it now. Sample clip only put on to make their listing appear in the bottom of searches. I'm gonna say buy it now.
eBay is your one-stop shop for all used underwear.
6-piece set, truck, vehicle, mini pullback model, movable racer, child toy. Buy it now.
Oh, this should be a comedy goldmine right here. You know what? I'm not really sure what I expected. Hillary Clinton is smarter than you. So stop talking. Wow. This would go great with my John McCain shirt. This is probably fake, but
I wish I actually had bought that shirt. I want to own that shirt now.
Hey, if Meryl Streep's name is in it, I have to buy it. She's a national treasure now, apparently. You know what? People have been telling me to check out Judo Joe's Bizarre Adventure. It's a dead meme in the house. Used Kentucky Fried Chicken buckets. Oh, am I really?
I have some used Kentucky Fried Chicken buckets in my closet. I roasted myself from the past. Because I actually have bought used Kentucky Fried Chicken buckets. Specifically, last year I wanted to do a YouTube short about the Japanese tradition of doing like all the KFC stuff at Christmas. So I imported from Japan a bunch of like really cheap used KFC Christmas stuff. Because it's all really interesting. And in Japan it costs nothing, but here it's like a collectible. So I have like 5 Christmas themed KFC buckets from Japan. But it's just so funny that is specifically what I'm going after in this bit.
A picture of PewDiePie's 50 million subscribers award? These go for as high as $1,000 on this site. This is exactly what I remember Smosh being like. This is the ugliest goddamn thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Buy it now.
Fun fact, that's actually one of my white whales now. This is a bootleg. I think it's from Brazil or something, might be from Mexico. And so there's a cliff jumper one and there's a bumblebee one, and their heads are swapped. And I've always wanted one of these. Now, so specifically I want the bumblebee one, but occasionally I will look up on eBay to see if one of these got listed. So it's funny to see me have the option to buy one of these and just be like, haha, I'm not actually gonna do it. Fuck me.
Buy it now.
This was before I collected Bumblebee and before I collected Garfield, if you can believe it. I didn't start collecting Garfield until like 2019. Because I didn't do my first Garfield video until 2018. And it wasn't until that blew up that I was like, now I have an excuse to just buy Garfield stuff. And I only started really buying a ton of Garfield stuff when the YouTuber Izzy's showed up on the scene. And they also have Garfield stuff on their set. And they have a shrine. And when they first started doing that, I said, I gotta step up my game. And so that's when I put the hammock up and started buying big lots of Garfield so I could actually display a ton of Garfields at once. Because I was like, I gotta step up my game, you know. So it's just funny to watch this and be like, yeah, I'm not buying Garfield stuff. I'm not even buying B-movie stuff or even Bumblebee stuff. It's weird.
Kind of disappointed, to be honest.
Miniature boat, buy it now.
God! What? I know Caleb and I must have been up in a Discord call just like, what's the worst things that I could show myself searching for?
$1.35 for a Drake Bell CD? Do you think that I was born yesterday? These scalpers honestly just ruined the eBay experience. New, How to Get Girls or How to Stop Being Dumb with Women by a gay man.
Great. Just home runs back to back. I don't know why I decided that I hated Drake Bell as a running gag. I stick by that. And I do think that that's one of my best early jokes, is just finding a $1.25 or whatever, like, album and saying, like, scalpers are ruining eBay.
Fuck, dude. What am I doing with my life, man? Why am I just doing... Why do I just keep buying this stuff that I'm never going to use just impulsively? Which is a word I use a lot, but I mean it this time. Impulsively, and essentially because I feel like I need it, when realistically I don't, because...
This is real. I think this really happened. I think that's why I made the video.
They're trying to make this a fucking game. I'm gonna make it a fucking game, I promise you that. Because I am fucking winning this. Oh, honey buns. You aren't prepared for the wrath I'm about to unleash on your ass. Bitch, get out of the kitchen if you can't stand the heat. Because I am fucking taking this shit home with me. Oh, honey! That's it. You pushed me to the edge, my friend. You pushed me right to the fucking edge. That was too easy. That was too fucking easy.
What the fuck?
That motherfucker's trying to trick me. That's what's happening.
I legitimately don't
He's trying
remember
to make
half
me
the
let my
jokes in
guard
these
down.
videos. It's weird.
Because I'm not going to be here. I'm going to forget about this. And at 10:50 p.m. tomorrow, I'm going to forget about this. And he's going to fucking snap you back at me. I'm not about to let that fucking happen. Now let's fucking see who wins this bid, you son of a bitch.
I do want to mention, I vaguely remember that was completely real, and I think the listing got taken down by the time it was over. But I actually did bid $700 just in case someone outbid me. Alright, this is Every Ghost Show. We are not going to watch this at all. This is my old theater teacher. I was very happy he agreed to be in this. This is my parody of Ghost Show, specifically Ghost Adventures. Watch this video once a week for the rest of your life. I will talk about this video constantly because this video failing was a life-changing event. And you know, 184,000 is pretty good for a YouTube video. The fact that it's not the highest viewed YouTube video called Every Ghost Show, that hurts. The fact that some stand-up dude has that instead, I don't love that. But this was supposed to be my magnum opus, and no one liked it. Or no, it didn't do well, and I didn't have anyone truly love it until years later. So I'm not going to watch it because I mention it every time, but it's in the playlist. If you're honestly going to watch this playlist to experience like the early Quinton reviews hits that are really obscure, I think you should watch this one because it would make my day. Okay, this is one we talked about in the last video. It's funny to put a video in your worst and your best video. But this is Every Disney Parks YouTuber, and this is supposed to be my parody of Disney Parks YouTubers. And this was a very expensive video to make.
Welcome to the original Disneyland Park, a world of creativity, imagination, and $5 water bottles. See the sights, ride the rides, buy the food, and the merchandise. Pure concentrated happiness, actively monetized by greedy billionaire capitalists.
When I shot this shot of me in the teacup, there was a line of people waiting to take photos in the teacup. And so it got to our turn. And so I did the line. I did it in one take. But it was so awkward for me because the next person in line was like a woman in her 30s and her little daughter. Like first trip to Disneyland vibes. And I was like, oh, I gotta do this in front of you guys. And they did have like a really disappointed face on, like I had like spoiled the magic by doing this bit on camera while they were waiting to take a photo in this cup.
It's been said in deep Imagineering lore that Walt Disney, during his lifetime, had one core obsession: ladders.
So this video is inspired by Hidden Mickeys. and just the whole story of the like Imagineers hide hidden Mickeys. That's definitely true. But it's also true that circles are a common thing used in all designs. So for every 9 hidden Mickeys that are real, there will be one that's just 3 circles that just happen to be close to each other. And I came up with this theory as I was researching hidden Mickeys, where I was like, what if like the first hidden Mickey was an accident? And then people just ran with it. And I was like, what could be the alternative? Like, what if people had run with something else? And when I was visiting Disneyland, I went, holy shit, I keep seeing ladders. There, in every ride I've gone on, there's a ladder somewhere. What if I try and gaslight people into thinking that's an intentional Easter egg or an intentional motif? And so that was the inspiration behind this video, and I hoped people would think it was funny, but at the time, no one really got it.
Which is why today we will be counting down the top 10 ladders at Disneyland.
Alright, so we're about to see the first joke in the video where I make it very, very clear that I'm trying to piss people off.
And now, a Disney fun fact. Disneyland was first opened in 1954. Ladder number on Big Thumb.
Yeah, so the joke there is that that's just wrong. That is just incorrect. So I think I'm going to skip past the rest of this video. I'm not sure if I'm extremely confident in just kind of watching me tell the same joke over and over again. I'm worried that I'll find it doesn't stand up. People tell me they do like this video once they find it. So yeah, if you want to watch a video that I reference all the time, even though it's not that popular, go and check that one out. That one's in the playlist. And How to Survive an Eclipse. Here's a funny story. This video was exclusively pitched by my father. My father had played this evil scientist character in my second review. And he said, hey, you know, that eclipse is coming up. I had this idea where I could shoot a video where, like, you're shooting a video telling people how to prepare for the eclipse, and then I come down and I tell everyone that the moon is an egg, and I tell them to scream at the moon. And I was like, haha, you know, I was like, that's a funny joke. And I thought he was messing with me. I did, but then like a week later, he's like, hey, you know, so when are we gonna film that eclipse video? And I was like, what? And it turns out he wasn't joking. It turns out he earnestly wanted me to make that video. So I was like, this is gonna bomb. And as you can see, 52,000 views. I actually re-uploaded parts of this for the recent Eclipse as a YouTube short, and I think the YouTube short surpassed the original. Yeah, so the whole bit here is that I am doing a video about how to prepare for the eclipse. There's at least one point in the video where I say something entirely wrong, because I didn't actually know a lot about this. So if you burned your eyes out watching the eclipse this year, I gotta say, oops. Anyways.
1990s.
So here's the punchline.
Earthlings of all creeds and denominations, we must stop the moon!
God damn it, not you again. I gotta start locking my doors.
The moon is no astral object. It is a giant egg which houses a hideous creature which would intend to consume the entire planet.
What?
This creature, when heated by the rays of the sun, will want to free itself from the shell of the moon and consume the entire planet.
God damn it.
We must all scream.
Why would we do that?
We have to scare away the moon monster. If you see an eclipse, immediately start screaming.
Not standard practice at all. Oh, jeez. Sound doesn't travel in space. How would that even work?
Your simple facts cannot stop science.
I don't understand at all.
To ultimately defeat the moon demon, we must all create devices to scare it away. Devices like this.
That's entirely real. That's a real thing he had. I think it's an air raid siren or something. My mom got really mad at us because she was like, the neighbors could hear that. But that is entirely real. I didn't dub that in. And I think the only thing I contributed to this bit is I believe I wrote this monologue based on what Dad wanted it to say, and I believe the only major contribution is I wrote the line, "Your simple facts cannot stop science."
Your simple facts cannot stop science.
And now that's like one of my dad's favorite things to say. I mean, really, this video is extremely important to the brand because now we've brought this character back kind of full time at the moment. He was in the last video more than once, and he's probably going to be in part 2. So, I mean, and this is the first video where he's wearing a lab coat. he would be a completely different character if we hadn't made this video. So it's just funny how a video that bombs not a lot of people see, and it is so important to the direction of the lore and the brand. It's just funny how these things happen. Next up, we're going to do Let's Play Chrome T-Rex game. I believe the entire joke is that I'm playing the Chrome T-Rex internet game, and then I'm not saying anything until I die a couple times, and then I say something about being depressed.
Life is a lot like this game. You can go through it and you can get really good at it. And you can even have some fun. But in the end, the only real way to quit is to lose.
Wow, what an upper, Quinton. Yeah, obviously this one deserves to be one of my most underrated videos. The big takeaway is, look, I'm wearing the McCain shirt, running gag. Here's the thing about doing YouTube, okay? A lesson I learned a long time ago. If you take an unfunny joke and you add commitment, it becomes hilarious. This is my April Fool's video, and I thought it'd be funny. At the time, I was really into practicing backmasking, which is basically the thing from Twin Peaks where they record the scene backwards and they play it in reverse. I said, what if I record an April Fool's video entirely backwards? And it's like a series of scripted gags that I have to meticulously practice for hours. And then when you play it backwards, it's, you know, if you can understand what I'm saying, it's actually like a weirdly boring bit. I'm gonna play this up to the first punchline. I'm gonna pause it, and I'm gonna say to you, go to the comments and write what you think I said. So I will give a little context here. The idea here is that I'm trying to warm up so I can start recording. I think I gotta clear my throat, so I'm gonna start coughing. You know, I'm like, all right, gotta film a video, gotta warm my throat up. And I broke, you know? I can't keep a straight face. It's so hard to get into recording. But, you know, maybe if I just let the giggles out, I can just record this little video real quick. You know, you never know. Alright, go down to the comments, write the time code of where you are in the video, and tell me what you think I just said. I'm curious. Okay, pause the video here, do that, and then come back. Alright, are you back? Everybody's back? I said, Happy birthday, Logan Paul. The joke is that April the 1st is actually Logan Paul's real birthday. And the joke is that I'm saying in my big April Fool's video that I meticulously filmed backwards. All I'm saying is, Happy birthday, Logan Paul. And that's the main joke of the video. No one could understand what I was saying. It was really irritating because I think if you watch it again, knowing what I'm supposed to be saying, my pronunciation is really, really good, considering that I recorded this backwards. So maybe all of you will have understood the first time. Maybe my fan base was just a lot stupider back then. Certainly it's possible. Or maybe it's just one of those things where without captions, you'll never be able to understand a bit like this. But I didn't want there to be captions. I wanted people to reverse engineer what I was saying, and no one could do it. It was really disappointing. Alright, and now I'm like, okay, I've done the bit. Turn the camera off. You know, I'm like, that's the April Fool's video. I'm done with the bit now. And so now I'm kind of breaking character, and I'm like, well, alright, done filming the video. And so that's what's going on here. You don't have to look at this bit. This might gross you out. You can look away if you want. You don't have to watch. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. My god. Yeah, people were really, really grossed out by this. Even though it's just me eating in reverse. Man, I eat way too fast. I actually do kind of have an eating disorder. Alright, so I'm like, why the hell is the audience still here? That's what's supposed to be going on here. And I'm like, why are you guys still here, you know?
Once.
And I just said, what? Like, why are you still here? And then I go, oh!
Oh!
I'm warming up here, and then I'm like, oh, my cat's down here. And now I'm making meow sounds backwards. Do you know how hard that was?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it turns out the audience contractually couldn't leave until I said that's all you need in backmasking. I understand why that video didn't do well. But I just want to see if you guys appreciate that in hindsight. Because I just remember at the time, my audience didn't get it at all. But man, that was hard to film. Alright, this one I have pulled up. Not because I remember it being a good video, but because I remember it being a video that was funny, but it didn't do numbers, and I never think about it. And then I was scrolling through my channel, and I was like, holy shit, the Easter movies review? This was one of the last videos that Caleb and I, like, wrote together. The status quo used to be that Caleb and I would watch a movie, I would record our conversation, and I would write down every funny joke we would make, and then that would get rewritten into a video. So, like, when I was rewatching the eBay video, I don't know if you guys have this sensitivity to it, but I could distinctly, like, in my mind go, oh, Caleb said that. Like, Caleb wrote that joke, you know? And this was one of the last times we did that. And this came out in 2019, yeah, so this is in the dark ages. This is when I was not doing well, and I was desperately trying to find a hit. And these days, I think 188,000 is a pretty good view count for this. I think at the time it did really bad. But yeah, let's see if I made a good Easter video.
This week, I had two options. I could talk about Star Wars, or I could talk about religion. And I just got to thinking about how seriously some people can take this stuff, and how heathen things can get unnecessarily so, and just generally how personally people seem to take every single little thing. So I decided to talk about religion, of course.
That's a great bit. That's a good joke. Okay. I don't remember writing that. Okay, so
to go to all the markets to see what kind of non-religious Easter stuff they're selling, and it's always so weird. This year I noticed a big focus on Easter trees, which is the most totally depressing representation of how this holiday is just Christmas traditions lazily copied to the spring.
I think every year I believe that I'm noticing this for the first time. Because I think for the past 2 Easters in a row, I've been like, did you guys notice there's a lot of Easter trees this year? But I guess it's a consistent thing, because here I am pointing it out 6 years ago.
I also found these texting Easter bunnies. I know the rule of 3 dictates that I should have another example for the sake of comedy, but honestly, how could I possibly top this?
I made the Last Supper out of Peeps.
I don't remember that joke at all. What's your diagnosis on that one?
It's bad. It's not good. But it's not.
Wait.
Oh, it's better, bud. Yes!
Yes!
This is what I was looking for. This is art. I changed my mind. 7 out of 10. Pretty good. Peter Cottontail, he killed 2 people.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop around. Okay, I'm trying to see. Oh, I watched The Dog That Saved Easter.
But it's today's topic that is even more perplexing. There was actually aged poorly, but that would...
Okay, let's see. Is there a moment where I praise Russell Brand? This is the big the big thing of the hour. When I was 14, I liked Russell Brand, and obviously now I don't. So I need to find out what I say about Russell Brand in this video.
The bunny is voiced by famous humanitarian Russell Brand. I imagine they convinced him to be in the film because if they didn't, they'd use a real bunny, and he thought that would be cruel.
Yeah, because Russell Brand believes in consent.
There's also a scene where Russell Brand shits candy and lets the Big Bang Theory girl eat it. Did I mention that already? God damn, I'm so sorry.
Okay, could have been worse. Alright, next up. The worst video ever. Okay, so this is an obvious point in the Dark Era Quinn reviews when I was doing very badly and constantly having episodes and still making YouTube videos in spite of it. This is either the high point of that or the low point, depending on who you ask. So the story behind this is that I was always getting sponsor emails at the time, and eventually I got a sponsor email from this person who was like, "Hello, we operate sexdoll.com with 2 S's. We would like to send you a doll to review on your YouTube channel." And I was like, yes. Please do that. Yes, please. Thank you. Yes. Yes, I will do that. Thank you. Yes. And then they tried to swindle me, and they were like, "Actually, we're going to send you like a sex toy, and you review the sex toy, and if that does well, we'll send you the sex doll." And I said, no. And because at this point I'd gone to their website and I found out they had one male sex doll, and it had abs, and it had this awful face, and it had long fingernails. And I said, "You're sending me that doll, or you're not sending me shit." And they said, "Okay, if you buy that doll from us, we'll give you a 10% discount and blah, 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 blah." So they wanted me to buy this doll for $2,000 from their website. And then they would pay me on top of that, right? So I looked into it and I was like, wait a minute, if I go on AliExpress, I can buy this thing for like $750 with like maybe $100 shipping. So I'll just do that and they can get over themselves. Long story short, when they found out that I did that, they backed out. So I had a sex doll that I had bought for this sponsorship, and the sponsor suddenly didn't want anything to do with me. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a video about how YouTube sponsors are weird, and specifically showing off the fact that I bought a male sex doll just because I thought it was funny. And then I got a Nord sponsorship, and they did pay me enough that I, they paid me a couple $100 more than it cost to get the doll. So, but basically I almost spent my entire paycheck from the sponsor on this video buying the doll. And the funny thing is, doing this video when everyone on the internet hated my guts, it for some reason didn't help. Because what happened after this is that everyone who hated me became convinced that I was lying about buying this sex doll because it was funny. And they were like, "You bought a sex doll for comedy." And people were drawing like fan art of like me with like inflatable like female sex dolls. And I was like, no, you don't understand. It's a male sex doll and it looks stupid. And this real website was trying to get me to buy it. I'm doing a video making fun of YouTube sponsors. And none of these people that hated me actually watched my videos. And so for a while, I kind of like, that was another thing that people said I was awful for. They were like, he used his Patreon money to buy a sex doll for comedy. Yeah, so the entire joke here was I was like, I'm going to start the video off by doing an ad for this thing where we don't even acknowledge that it's a sex doll. And yeah, so let's see if this is aged well.
Have you ever had this problem? You've invited all your friends over for a party, but barely anyone's shown. It's killing the vibe for real, and you just don't know what to do. Well, all that can be fixed in an instant with the revolutionary Sex Doll.
Man, I haven't talked to those guys in forever. I gotta like text them or something.
Wow, Quinton, this is such a great party.
Oh my god.
So many real people showed up too.
Yeah, this is my boy Huffman. He sadly passed away. He passed away back in August. Shit. Yeah, he passed last year. It was real hard on all of us. And I just remember when I heard the news, I was like, God damn it, how did I only get him in one video? Because this is the only video Huffman was the funniest motherfucker you'll ever meet. Like, he was the funniest dude. And I got him in one video, and that breaks my heart, man. Because I should have had Huffman in every video, dude. But God, you know, it's kind of rough seeing him, to be honest with you, but it's also nice, you know. Because he was a funny guy, and I'm glad I got him to do a funny bit. And it's one of those bits where it becomes more funny if you knew him, just to imagine. He's almost under distress saying this line for me.
Wow, Quinton, this is such a great party. And so many real people showed up too. Good.
This party host looks pretty content. And now, you can be too.
I'm talking, of course, about the revolutionary
Siegstal
is a German word which, when translated roughly into English, equates to the phrase YouTuber who is out of ideas. I love throwing parties, but I found when not enough people show up, it can just be boring. But thanks to Siegstal, I've been able to make people totally overlook the issue. And the best part is that he's a great conversation starter.
Hey Quinton, why do you have a fucking sex doll in the living room?
All my life, I've just wanted one thing, a little boy of my own. But I've always been held back by my continuous tendencies to black out and murder anyone who's even slightly emotionally close to me. Oh, dang damn it, I did it again! But that's all changed thanks to Siegstal.
I love you, son! I remember this is one of the only times that my neighbors at that apartment kind of came out and started looking at me weird.
My name is Wyatt Receiver.
No, I made him say his real name! Oh, fuck. Wyatt is the funniest man I've ever met. I know I just said that about Huffman. I think to myself like once a week, why didn't I have them record like a podcast together? They truly are the two funniest guys I've ever met. But I will do anything to put Wyatt Receiver in a video. He is actually one of my best friends from high school, and I think he is the funniest dude ever.
And sex doll has really changed my life. And this product has really turned things around for me. It's just nice to have some companionship where you know they'll always be there for you. My doll's free to go on walks or go to the movies, and that's something you don't always get from most people. The sex doll is the ideal romantic companion. It's more compatible with me than any real person ever could be. And the best part is it's great with the in-laws.
I no longer consider Wyatt to be my son.
So there's a universe where my dad is my dad. There's a universe where Wyatt is my dad. And apparently now there's a universe where my dad is Wyatt's dad. I forgot about that.
Be sure to go to sssexdoll.com.
Yeah, so this is the joke. The people who wanted to sponsor me and screwed me over, they were sexdoll.com with 2 S's. So I bought sexdoll.com with 3 S's. And here's the funny thing. They eventually failed to renew their domain, and the domain went up for auction. So if you go to sexdoll.com with 2 S's right now, I think it still redirects to this video because I own that domain now. So I got the ultimate payback on those guys because I own their domain now. I have mentioned this before. My mic was really broken at the time, and it took me forever to figure out what I needed to replace. Because of that, this is one of those videos that I can't stand watching. Because even in the narration so far, you can tell something's wrong. And there was basically this weird hissing, and I was trying to mask it there by adding an echo. I bet if I play this right here, it's unlistenable.
Who do you think I am? Another thing that's really important to deciphering if these are good sponsors or bad sponsors is if the language implies that you're gonna get paid.
Okay, that's not too bad. I know there's a joke in here where someone offered to pay me in, like, hospital face masks. And everyone's like, haha, that aged badly. And, I'm glad you guys, find that funny. The pandemic wasn't funny to me. So the story here is, I believe I took a long break from YouTube. Or maybe for a few months. It felt like a significant amount of time I tried to take off so that I wouldn't burn out. Because I wasn't doing well. And I'd also just moved. I had just moved into the apartment that I would film the iCarly videos in. And I was like, I need to have something relevant when I come back. And exactly when I was trying to get back into making videos, they did that weird campaign where they killed Mr. Peanut. And I was like, I'm going to commit to this bit. And so the entire point of this video is to talk about how I want Mr. Peanut to die. And I have tried to keep this as a recurring gag. Because like I said earlier, unfunny jokes with dedication equals comedy gold. So even if this joke wasn't funny in 2016, by trying to consistently insist over the years that this is still one of my big life goals, to kill Mr. Peanut, this has become a great bit.
If you look at Mr. Peanut as a simple sketch meant to appear in newspaper ads, as a personified version of the product who smiles and points towards the larger set of text, then Mr. Peanut is one of the least offensive characters to ever be created. But every time Mr. Peanut is developed or personified past this, I find myself hating him with the strongest of passions. Why is that? Well, I think it stems from what he tends to accidentally represent in most of the attempts to add any sort of personality to him. Essentially, instead of being a character who distracts us from everything about corporations which are despicable, he ends up personifying those issues. And I think it might partially be the underlying accidental theme of cannibalism. In the past few decades, it's become increasingly the norm for companies to create cinematic universes with consistent characters for their advertisements, harkening back all the way to the original McDonald's Land commercials. The most common archetype for these is that animated personifications of the represented product live in a world where they have to avoid being eaten by regular people. Why this is important is that while Mr. Peanut is shown to exist in a world where peanuts are sentient, and where there are people who eat peanuts, he has never been personified in the same way as the characters in the M&M commercials. He is not a casualty of a system of cruelty. He is not a regular person in a world that he has no influence to change. He is the top dog. He runs the Planters Peanuts Corporation. He's not the victim of abuse. He is the creator and profiteer of abuse.
Sadly, by the time I finished this video, I think this was all very passé. No one really cared about this. So this video did okay. But there's this beautiful bit at the end where I'm talking about how commercials and mascots and all commercials in general need to end.
That spot of waste and debris. Clutter fills our streets, our waters, and our homes. The remnant of invaders we've allowed to linger for far too long. In the ruins of our shortest of shortest passions, of our dances with projected joy, one conclusion comes to the forefront. Maybe it's time for ads to die. This video has been sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends!
And then that's completely true. The rest of the video is a Raid Shadow Legends sponsor. Low-key, I remember being like, I don't know if I don't actually hate ads, but I need to convince the audience that I hate ads so I can do this one joke. Here's a funny story. So this bit here, this was filmed by, it's not the highway, but it's, you know, it's what do you call it? Subdivision? I can't remember. So this was filmed by a bypass. This was filmed by a bypass that was near where I used to live. And I would have this thing where I'd sometimes walk to the store. And first of all, here's a funny story. In 2016, I walked by this area, and there was a DVD there. And it was called, and And I'd see it every day. And this was when I worked at Little Caesars, so I'd be walking to Little Caesars to do my job, and I'd see this DVD. Someone had thrown a DVD out of the window. And I thought about bringing that DVD home and making a video called Reviewing a DVD I Found at the Side of the Road. I think that video would have done well, because the DVD was Monster House. So, like, I think that would have been a pretty interesting video, just talk about the history of Monster House through the context of the fact that it was sitting on the side of, like, the bypass. Because I think that's a pretty good metaphorical representation for that film's presence in today's culture. And so that's on the list of videos that I kind of wish I'd done that I don't think would work now. I don't think I can invent that story and just like, years ago I saw this DVD sitting there, so I bought another DVD on eBay. Anyways, so I knew that when I went to this area, there would be a ton of trash that people had just thrown out their windows, right? And I said, I want to go here and I want to just film all the food and all the mascots. But I'm going to bring a couple of my own with specific mascots that I think this sequence needs. And I said, you know, here's the payoff morally. If I add trash to the trash pile, I have to clean this entire area up. So once I was done filming this, even I added like 4 or 5 bits of trash, and then I cleaned this whole area up. I'm sure if you go there now, it's a mess again. But yeah, that's completely true. Bonbon is chewing on my headphones. Sorry. I did actually bag up all this trash when I was done filming, because that's what I told myself. You know, if you're gonna film this trash pile and if you're gonna add trash to it, you have to clean it all up. So that's what I did. Bonbon, stop eating my headphones. The O.J. Simpson video is also in here. This one also has Wyatt in it. This one didn't do well because it got demonetized. I think it would have like 1 million views if it hadn't gotten demonetized. When YouTube demonetizes stuff, they stop sending it to people. They claim that that's not true, but it's 100% verifiably true. So yeah, this is a general list of what I would call the underrated Quinton videos. The Quinton videos that you're not going to see if you're just going for the multi-million, you know, viral famous ones. These are the ones that are a little more obscure. Someone who starts Quinton reviews tomorrow probably would not organically watch any of these videos. And I'll be honest, as I watched these, there were a couple edgy jokes I wish I hadn't made. You know, I was a teenager in these early videos. It was 2016, and hey, I gotta own up to that. I'm sorry, you know, I should have been better. But in general, as a representation of just a kid right out of high school trying to be funny and trying to be smart when he probably wasn't that smart, I'm kind of proud of a lot of these videos. And I think these are worth watching. So if you're a fan of the channel, I think these are worth adding to your rotation. And if you've just found the channel, hey, these are some fun episodes of the classic series to jump into. With that out of the way, I think there's only one way to go out.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kinda dumb.